Hello and welcome to my channel, and for today's video I would like just to present to you a system that I have been enjoying for a while, and I tried already some adventures, and I think this is a good option for those that would like to have a little bit less mechanic and more fiction. Maybe someone already thought, okay, he's going to talk about PbTAs. And yes, definitely, this is what I'm going to talk about. And very briefly, when I start considering using a PbTA system in my solo play, I found Dungeon World. I have heard this for a long time, but I didn't try it. Um, in, I just grab it and have a look on it. I've seen some PbTA systems before, such as Masks um, or Monsters of the Week, and these two actually they are more mm, modern than Dungeon World. Dungeon World is not the first PbTA, of course. As I said, PbTA stands for Powered by the Apocalypse, and it means that there is this system called Apocalypse World, and this one is the first one. And it basically the rule from this system has been used in a lot of PbTAs. Um, One thing that is really common to see in any PbTAs is that they are very um, close to a theme. Masks, for instance, is about teenagers that are superheroes. So the theme is superheroes, is the fact that they are teenagers and relationship with the older heroes and their friends. If we go to Monsters of the Week, the theme is basically Monster Hunter, but not as the game, but as the Buffy, Vampire Hunter, or The Witcher, or things like these. Not so much The Witcher because it's more in a modern world, so it could be like Scooby-Doo, for instance. Yeah, and where there is a mystery and the group needs to solve the mystery. And usually PbTAs they are really specific in this level. So you have PbTAs for a lot of other themes. If you Google it for a few minutes, you're going to find a lot of. For fantasy, there are few options. However, all of those options, at least options that I have found so far, are hacks from Dungeon World. A lot of people see Dungeon World as not a true PbTA because the idea in the background was more kind of trying to create something between PbTAs and Dungeons and Dragons. However, the concept is really good in the end because you can save a lot of time by playing Dungeon World instead of playing Dungeons and Dragons. Um, Combat is way faster. Here we can see the core rule for everything in this game. You roll, the player rolls 2d6s, and if he or she gets a 10 or plus, he or she succeeds in the check. If it is 7 or 9, it's a success but with a complication or a trouble. And if it is a 6 minus, yeah, something bad happens, definitely. But you are rewarded with an XP. This is the rule, and this is really simple. On top of these rules, there are several movements or moves actually um, that can be used, and I can try to show some of them just as an example. This is the hack and slash move, and we can read here. Let me make it bigger. When you attack an enemy in melee, roll plus strength. On a 10 or plus, you deal your damage to the enemy and avoid their attack. At your option, you may choose to do plus 1d6 damage but expose yourself to the enemy's attack. On a 7 to 9, you deal your damage to the enemy and the enemy makes an attack against you. If it's a 6 minus, is of course that's a failure. Basically, something bad happens to you. It could be attack, it could be something else. But as you can see, this is the attack. The GMs, they do not roll anything. Basically, if you would like to attack a monster, you just roll 2d6 plus your strength, and then you see, have you succeeded or not, or the results are there. It's really simple. And on top of this mechanic of rolling 2d6 plus an attribute, a lot of other movements are described here. We have basically the same for shooting with a bow or a ranged weapon by using dexterity. The results are pretty similar. If you have a 10 or plus, you succeed, you do your damage. If you have a 7 to 9, you need to choose between these three options here. Yeah, and if we go again down there, we can see that we have this defy danger. When you act despite an imminent threat or suffer a calamity, you should roll using one of your attributes that fits better in the situation. And if you roll plus 10, you succeed, the threat doesn't come to bear. Otherwise, you stumble, hesitate, or flinch, and the GM will offer you a worse outcome or an ugly choice or bargain. So this is a movement or a move actually that we use very often in Dungeon World. And in the character sheets, there are a lot of other movements specific to a class that could be used as well. For instance, a cleric that would like to cast a spell should actually trigger this move called cast a spell. And then on a 10 and a plus, they successfully cast the spell. And the spell is still available in order to be casted again. And 7 and 9, the spell is cast, however, you need to choose one of these options here. And this is something that I really like it on PbTAs in general, because instead of just having a binary result as yes or no, success or fail, you can have one in the middle that says, okay, you succeed, but something bad happens, or you need to choose if you would like to succeed or not. But this list of moves, it's something that I'm not so fan. So for this reason, I did some research, and then I found this system here called World of Dungeons. And this is really great. Basically, it is a hack of of dungeon world. But yeah, as you can see, it's only this is the character sheet. Actually, we have two here, but it's only one side, and it's really simple. We still have the base. The idea for this, actually, instead of being kind of PbTA plus Dungeons and Dragons, it tries to bring a little bit more OSR feeling. This here, it's not actually, this was here, this staying here, it was put in the art style. If I zoom in, you can see that it's like an old page, right? So they created these just to bring that feeling that we used to have. Oh, this is my RPG book. This is the old book that I have. And yeah, so this is really great. I like it a lot. But I like it even more when I check the rules, because these are the rules. Everything that you need to play is here. Nothing else. Actually, there is an additional page, but I can just show you afterwards. But what we have here is basically a list of equipments, hirelings, price, and some descriptions, magic in the system, a rule summary, character creations, and then some abilities or skills for the four classes: fighters, thieves, clerics, and wizards. And actually, there is a fifth one here. I always forget about this one, the rangers. And then how to roll the dice. So if I just make it a little bit bigger, you can see that it's really simple, and it is brutal as well. The last page is basically this table for XP and levels, an image, and a table with some names. I have no clue why they added this here. They could just get rid of one of these character sheets and just put this here, and yeah, it would be just 2 pages actually. And I would like just to roll a character here with you guys, because I have a plan at least to try a short adventure. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to play it in English, because as you can see, I do not have a fancy vocabulary or extended vocabulary to describe a proper adventure, but I will try to do something. So this is the system that I'm going to use, and actually I've been playing it for a while already. Um, Keep in mind that if you wish to try this, you need to have some kind of PbTA mindset first. And for that, you would need to read at least Dungeon World. I would suggest you that, maybe find some other videos on YouTube or articles just to really understand. Um, as I said, the focus is more on the fiction instead of the mechanic. So for those who come from the traditional D&D, or even the newest 5e D&D and so on, it could be a little bit uh, different. Actually, it's not just a little bit. It's it's way more different than they have huge differences between them. But I will try to show it here as well. So let's just jump into the character creation. And the character creations use actually the same approach of the core mechanic. We just roll 2d6, let's make it bigger. And then if I roll a 6 or a minus, I have a plus 0 in the attribute. If I have a 7 to 9, I have a plus 1. If it's 10 or more, actually 10 or 11, it's a plus 2. And if I got a 12, it is a plus 3. So this is my game table that I have prepared. And for now, I'm not going to use the oracle. I'm just going to use my character sheet. So I'm going to roll 2d6 for strength, and let's see what happens. 7. 7, if I'm not wrong, is +1. So I'm going to add this +1 here, +1. Can make it bigger. Okay, let's see. Next, it's a 9. And a 9, if I'm not wrong, is a +1 as well. So let's just put here again, +1. Again, 7. Oh, it's a +1 too. This is really good. Again, okay. 0 intelligence, +0. Wisdom, 6, +0 again. And 9. So +1 here. Okay. We have some +1s and so on. And by going back to the rules, I need to choose a class now. And with these attributes, I can see that it could be almost anything, right? Actually, I think that I'm going to try, for the first time, I'm going to try the Ranger. And it's written here that the Ranger gets the skill called Survival. And then I need to choose 2 special abilities. I can pick Pet, meaning that I have a loyal and effective animal companion. Or I can get Scout. When you scout ahead, you always spot the target before it spots you. This is really great. Volley, +2, ranged damage. Interesting. Or Wild, you can converse with and attempt to command animals. It's written here even that I can make my own class if I wish. I just need to choose a class skill and 2 special abilities of any other class. But I will just stick to the rules right now. And I should mention actually that there are a lot of hacks for Words of Dungeon or World of Dungeons actually. There are a lot of hacks, including more classes and even more explanations regarding some skills or how to convert some creatures from OSCR books to the system. It's really great, actually. I will show it afterwards. So I will just pick the Ranger, and then I'm going to have the Survival. Okay, let's see. Let me go back to my character sheet, and I'm going to get Survival. This is my Ranger ability. So this one I'm going to have. And Pet, Scout, Volley. I think I'm going to get Volley. Yeah, Volley +2 damage. And Scout's good, but I would like to have a pet since I'm playing it solo. I would like to have a pet as well. And I will decide later. So I just pick it Ranger. Let's just put this here. I'm level 1. And we start with 60 silver pieces, and then we have here general prices. So I can buy light weapons for 10 silvers, martial weapons with 30, and let me see, and great weapons, short bow and bow. Okay, I'm going to buy, yeah, 6C is not so much. If I buy a half bow or a bow, actually, I do not have so much money for the other stuff. I'm just going through the equipment, light weapons, martial weapons, great weapons, and then short bow, bow, half bow or gun, light armor, and full armor. And armor reduces the damage here. There is no armor class since there is no dice rolling for enemy attacks. You just have armor to reduce the damage that you get. But if I buy the bow and the light armor, I'm going to be with 0. But I do have other options here since available, such as adventure gear, tools, occult items, fancy items, and fire oil. And actually, when you see these adventure gear, for instance, it costs 2 silver each, but we do have several items here. So basically, when you buy an adventure kit, you can just say, I'm going to use my adventure gear to get a torch, for instance, or a bandage, or travel rations. So you need to buy at least a good amount of adventure gear in order to get whatever you need uh, once it is necessary. And the same for tools and these occult items or fancy items. So I'm going to buy initially my adventure gear. So going back to my card sheet, I'm going to add adventure gear 5 times, meaning that I spent 10 silver. I'm going to buy a bowl as well. And for these, I'm going to, I do not have any armor. If I go check my hit dice, it's 1d6 for everyone, but I have an additional hit dice for every bonus in my constitution. And this is something that I didn't mention actually. The hit dice, I have 2 because 1 is from everyone has 1 hit dice, and plus 1 give me another hit dice. And I need to roll my hit points now. And I got a 7. And one thing that's going to happen is I will roll my hit dice every day. I will re-roll it. So now I have a 7. But it could be the case that, okay, I spent the day, I'm going to sleep. When I wake up, I roll it again. And I could have less or more hit points available to that day. This is a really strange concept, but then I read someone saying, I think on Reddit, yes, I definitely woke up this morning with 1 HP. And I said, yes, I understand the concept now. It's really great. Yes, I do have a pet here. I'm just going to put pet here. I already bought the bow. 10 silver, 30 silver, meaning that I still have 20 silver. So I could buy some more stuff, but I would just save this here. And although I said that I do not have any idea for having these table of names here, I think I'm going to grab one name from here. And I think I like this one. Arcus. Arcus sounds to be a good name. And I'm going to put this here, Arcus. This is my ranger's name. I'm going to define a pet afterwards. Yeah, and that's it. In the next video, I'm going to try to show you how I use the Oracle, the one-page Sol engine to play, and I'm going to use this system as well. As I said, I do not have um, great expectations for the adventure itself, but I hope it can be helpful. So that's it. See you in the next video. Bye bye.